Hello and welcome to Daytona International Speedway, where we're greeted by partly cloudy skies, fair weather, and a little breeze blowing out of the southwest. My name is Shane Landers, and I bring you the third annual Daytona 500, where 43 drivers will take on 60 laps around this 2.5-mile behemoth of a super speedway. The fans and drivers are ready and raring, and they've packed in. They've been camping out all week. We've been down here all week for the Clash, the qualifying duels, and now we're here for the great American race itself. Let's go ahead and get you a little recap and tell you what has been going on the last week or so. Derek Hamill won the pole on Wednesday with a speed of 191 miles an hour. Alexander Rowe then won Duel 1. Cody Lamas, outside pole sitter, then won duel number 2. Angel Gutierrez, Zachary Ponce, Craig Newhouse, and Wayne Hovick all made the Daytona 500 through the duels. The fans are raring to go. The field has already been gridded down on pit lane 2 by 2. So we're going to head and go trackside and get you the national anthem here in a second.
Please welcome veteran and Iwo Jima survivor Don Graves as he performs our national anthem.
Here it is, the greatest anthem written in the world. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight on the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bomb bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
And we'll thank that gentleman for his amazing invocation. Well, don't go anywhere. The Daytona 500 here on the Right Lane Cup Series channel will be right back. Right after these short messages, we'll come back and we'll get you to the green flag.
Where'd you go? I just did a bumper run and took the lead.
I ran out of dip.
Dip? I'm racing neck and neck, and that's all you can think about is dip? You need to get your priorities straight.
Look at the bumper given to the 75. Caesar to the inside. He's going to take second spot.
G'day. In about 30 seconds, I'm going to be enjoying this. Famous Foster's. Try it next time you're having a beer. Of course, you can't actually drink in commercials. That's fair enough. This is one taste that's worth waiting for. How long to go, mate?
5 seconds, Paul.
4, 3, 2, fade to black.
Foster's. It's Australian for beer, mate.
Welcome back to Daytona International Speedway, where the third annual Daytona 500 is getting ready to go. We're going to go trackside now. We'll get the command to start the engines and get this race underway.
And now, for the 4 most famous words in motorsports, please welcome your Grand Marshal, the actor that portrays the most interesting man in the world. Funny, I thought I was. Jonathan Goldsmith. Drivers, start your engines.
As the grid rolls off of the pit lane, we're going to go ahead and get you your starting lineup for the third annual Daytona 500. On Wednesday, Derek Hamill put his number 98 5-Air Energy Honda on the pole. To his outside is Dual 2 winner Cody Lamas. Alexander Rowe and Vince Freeze, 2 past 500 winners, are in row 2, with Luke Evans and Alex Sanvatale, the rookie, in row 3. Julio Caesar and Jesse Turner in row 4, and Ryan Griffin and DJ Curtis round out your top 10. Then it's Nick Breeding, Griffin Lapel McDermott, Justin Henley, Angel Gutierrez, James Ellison, Tim Fiegel, Zachary Fitzwater, Patrick Nolan, the rookie, and Luke Martin, along with Zachary Ponce, rounding out the top 20. RJ Bishop, Ben McDonald are next, with Logan Cloud, Alexander Phoenix, Samuel England, Craig Newhouse, Henry Thomas, Austin Murray, Lane Sanders, and Charles Sandifer rounding out your top 30. And then you have Ryan Reed, Wyatt Juckman, Ryan Acosta, Peter Onjack, Stanley Andrews, Taylor Frey, Aiden Smith, Andrew Thomas, Carson Green, and Stephen Clone rounding out your top 40. The back of the field has Jeffrey Finguy, Christian Vargas, and Wayne Hovick, who all had issues in practice, and they all went to the rear. And that is your starting grid for the third annual Daytona 500. All 43 cars have left the grid and now are snarling behind the pace car, led by Derek Hamill in the number 98 Honda and Cody Lamas and the rookie in the number 48 Lowe's Ford. The pace car comes out of 3 and 4. All 43 of these drivers have a dream to end up in victory lane, but only one will at the end of the day. The pace car pulls onto pit road for the first time. Derek Hamill and Cody Lamas bring us into the restart zone. The green flag is out. The third annual Daytona 500 is underway. Getting up through the gears. Remember, it takes a full lap to be full speed here on these super speedways, Daytona and Talladega. Derek Hamill draws Alexander Rowe clear onto the back straightaway for the first time. Rowe pulls to the outside lane. That's going to allow Luke Evans in the new Honda Factory number 99 team to pull to the inside. He's going to get up to his teammate, Derek Hamill. Hamill, will he pull down in front of his teammate? No, he won't. Luke Evans now is going to pull right up to the side of his teammate Derek Hamill, and I believe he is going to take the lead. Lap number 1 is going to be led by that Little Debbie's Honda, Luke Evans. He has the number 75 right behind him. That's Julio Caesar. Another Honda, Ryan Griffin, third of the 4 Honda Factory team Hondas, that Napa Auto Parts Honda. There he goes into the second spot. He's got Nick Breeding, Griffin, Lapel McDermott behind him. Down the back straightaway, Caesar trying to block. He's trying to block both lanes. Griffin moves to the outside with his teammate. Caesar blocks him. Nick Breeding now to the inside line, and the number 54 Pennzoil Toyota. Griffin Lapel McDermott behind him as well. That is your Season 2 champion, drawing up to the front of the field. We'll see if we can get a new leader here at Daytona. Remember, you get a bonus point for leading a lap in the Right Lane Cup Series. You get 2 bonus points if you lead the most. Caesar leads this lap, Breeding to his inside, heading into turn number 1 once again. Nick Breeding won last year at Bristol. His home race has been very quiet since. He's trying to make some noise now with the series champion right behind him. And then behind GLM, it's 2 Hondas. That's Justin Henley trying to get revenge from last year. He DNQ'd the Daytona 500 in the 3rd Crossroads car. Brought back with new sponsorship from Holiday Inn. James Ellison as well with new sponsorship. That is Amtrak sponsoring that number 3, and now they've drawn Club to the front. Those Crossroads Hondas have been playing very close all speed weeks. They have been right with each other. It's been the 31 and the 30. The rookie Alex Sanvatale with Henley, and now it's Henley and Ellison trying to get up to the front, get around that number 22 and the 54. Breeding led that time. We're on lap number 4. GLM's going to pull right alongside. He's going to try to clear down the back straightaway. Looks like he's trying to. It's a very orderly first few laps here at Daytona. 2 wide throughout the entire field. A couple of 3 wide moves in the back, but they aren't staying very long. A lot of drivers believe it's the new package that we've brought down here for Daytona and Talladega. They believe because Daytona's surface is newer than Talladega's that perhaps it's playing with the draft a little bit. GLM will lead that lap. He will be the 4th different leader in just as many laps. We're on lap number 5 now. Can the Crossroads cars shake the champion and get to the lead? They have a good train behind them. That's Luke Martin in the 6th, Rookie of the Year last year. Won himself a race at Canadian Tire for Fitzwater Australia Racing. The Red Bull Ford has been fast all speed weeks. And now he's trying to draw up to the front behind the Crossroads cars. Here comes Justin Henley in the number 3. That Holiday Inn, that very noticeable Holiday Inn Honda is going to pull right to the front of the field. And it looks like he is going to get his first laps led in Crossroads Racing. Can you believe that? Henley has never led a lap at Crossroads Racing. That is his first lap led. Now lap number 5. 5 different leaders in 5 laps. We're going to see how they're going to be able to do. Now, if we go onto the helicopter cam and look at the field from above, you can see it is too wide. Not anymore. Here comes Luke Martin to the inside line. He's trying to make a move on James Ellison. RJ Bishop is not going to go with him. They're going to try to cycle him out on the inside line. Patrick Nolan in the 00. That is the Gutierrez Renegade Racing part-time entry, the 00. Made it in on speed. Is now going to try to push Luke Martin. They are 3 wide up front with Zachary Ponce. Made it in on dual 2. That Federated Auto Parts Dodge. It's 3 wide for 2nd. GLM pulls right back ahead. Logan Cloud's going to go to the inside line. Looking back through the field, they're still 2 by 2. The inside line is moving. The outside line's trying to back up the Hondas. Seem to be trying to back that line up and sort everything out. The Crossroads cars got separated there. Now Luke Martin has very little help trying to get up to Griffin Lapel McDermott. But he's going to move to the inside line. He's got 3 wide, several rows behind him throughout this field. Martin's going to pull ahead coming out of turn number 4. We'll see what he's able to do. Martin to the inside. He's going to side draft away from the 22, and it was close. If that was a final lap, I think we'd have to give it to Griffin Lapel McDermott. Yes, we would. By 1/100th of a second. Martin, though, is not going away. He has that 00, who has really nothing to lose. He's going to be part-time in this car. Logan Cloud washed up out of the corner. We saw that in the number 89. He washed up out of the corner and almost collided with Ellison. That's going to separate the field. Griffin Lapel McDermott now to the inside of Nolan, putting that 00 to the outside line. He's going to follow his momentum and try to get up to a fellow Ford. I say that in a very loose terms. They do share manufacturers, the 6 and the 22, but they could not be bigger rivals. Fitzwater and Finguy were arguably the 2 best teams last season, and they were in a brutal fight for the championship, and it saw Griffin Lapel McDermott pull away. Of course, their biggest rivals were the Pontiacs of MB2 Motorsports. That is Henry Thomas, the highest running one right now. Running just inside the top 5. He's got to his inside Lane Sanders, who was also a Pontiac last season, but Spa made the switch to Chevrolet, and they aligned themselves with Gutierrez Renegade Racing. The 00 and the 52 will now receive engines and tech support from Spa. But Lane Sanders, he's been very quiet, has the best average finish here out of anybody at Daytona. They're looking to go 4 wide behind him with Ryan Acosta, it looks like. They'll settle it all out. But Sanders has the best average finish of anybody here. He's a 3rd average place. He's been very quiet in the back for most of the duels and the clash. He's finally brought that car up here and is showing his muscle, trying to push James Ellison forward. There's another driver we haven't talked about. It's Craig Newhouse in the number 34. That team, the Sunburst Racing Organization, they made their way into the Daytona 500 through the first duel, along with Angel Gutierrez in the 52. Running right inside the top 10, but Luke Martin is showing his Ford horsepower. He has now led the last 4 laps in a row. We're on lap number 11 now. Look at Martin. They are trying to move all around back there. We believe we might have had an issue. Taylor Frey pulled out to the inside line and is then immediately hit the brakes. Something might have happened to that 15, maybe got a little loose. That's going to stack up the back half of the field, it looks like. It's going to separate, it's going to separate the field. Fitzwater got away. Luke Evans and all the Hondas, it's going to separate them. But moving forward, Nick Breeding is back into the front of the field. He's 3 wide now. He's going to have Lane Sanders behind him. Griffin Lapel McDermott is going to pull right to second spot as Luke Martin tries to block Ryan Acosta coming through the tri-oval. Acosta, a third part-time effort for Bishop Family Racing in that National Guard Toyota. Going to be sharing that ride with Noah Hart, both driving in the Truck Series. Acosta made this race on speed. His teammate, Nick Gunther, did not. Gunther is going to be full-time in a 41 car. RJ Bishop, we saw him up front a little earlier in the number 4. He's at the back of the pack now. There he is behind Zachary Ponce, trying to make it to the inside. RJ Bishop, no success here at Daytona. He won a duel at season 1 here when that team was still Fords. Switch over to Toyota. They now have support from Breeding Enterprises, who's dipped their toes into all the Toyota goings-on in the Right Lane Cup Series and in the Crescent Tools Truck Series. But if anybody's got to feel a lot of pride, here comes Samuel England to the inside. If any team's got to feel a little pride this week, it's Spa. They won the first Crescent Tools truck race. Bob Burns won that race. And the number 81 for Spa. If anybody's feeling needs a little bit of a pick-me-up, it's going to be that team. Of course, Fitzwater Australia Racing, they have got to feel very good right now. They won the outside pole. They won Duel 2. And now Luke Martin, their sophomore driver, is in the lead. He's leading the Daytona 500. This is going to be important because Martin, as of right now, he has the 2 points bonus for leading the most laps. And you can win that very easily if you're able. Well, I say that it's probably the hardest on super speedways to get that bonus because of just how it is here. And you see Martin weaving left and right, trying to break the draft. Behind him, and behind them is 2 drivers who are very hungry for a win. It's, of course, Nick Breeding trying to get his second win. Griffin Lapel McDermott, the champion, trying to back up his win from last season. He's got some drivers behind him that he is partially his employees. Little Falls Motorsports they've got 2 drivers in the top 5. That's the 75 of Julio Caesar. Stanley Andrews in a new car, the number 7. Going straight to the front. That team is brand spanking new. Of course, Griffin Lapel McDermott, Owen's part of that team. The 75 and the 57. Caesar won 2 races last season. One including Talladega. Ryan Reed, that's his teammate to the inside. How about this for Little Falls? They've gotten 3 cars into the top 10 already. Meanwhile, though, Luke Martin, I saw that move that he was trying to pull on Nick Breeding. He backed off, let Nick Breeding take the lead. He's going to do a slingshot, and he's going to lead the lap again. How about that for smart driving out of this young man? Luke Martin trying to win the Daytona 500. He's got Ryan Griffin behind him, currently the best Honda, the only Honda that's been able to get back through the field. He's got the Season 1 champion behind him. We'll take a look back through the field. Of course, there are the 3 LFM cars. RJ Bishop has moved back up into the top 10. Luke Evans led the first lap of the day, was looking very strong. He's moving forward now. Henley is back up here. There's the 2 Gutierrez Renegade Racing cars. That's Angel Gutierrez in a 52, making his way forward. Gutierrez, a winner in the Right Lane Cup Series, won the Season 1 finale at Charlotte. Is now doing a very good job. They expanded to a full-time effort and a part-time effort for this season. Doing a very good job here. They were able to make the Daytona 500. I believe they missed it last season, so they're automatically doing better this year. Up front, though, Griffin Lapel McDermott pulled over. I don't know if he didn't like what he saw, but that's going to allow 1, 2, 3 cars to go by him on the outside line. His teammate now, Julio Caesar, is going to pick him up. I say teammate. I really mean the driver that he hires. Caesar goes to the inside 3 wide. A teammate would be that man right there, Jeffrey Finguy. Finguy almost won this race last season. He got caught out by the late race big one. He got trapped and was jumped by a pair of Pontiacs late in the race on the late race restart. Now those 2 LFM cars are together. This is really a place, Daytona and Talladega are really tracks of trying to pick a partner and work with them. We've seen it, and a lot of teams are just picking teammates. We've seen it, the 7, the 57, the 00 and the 52, the 22 and the 92. But they have all not been able to really get Luke Martin. Martin has led the most laps thus far. He is coming on lap number 9 for laps led. Ryan Griffin pulls to the inside, but the 7 stays with him. Ryan Griffin trying to get a bonus point as well. Griffin, this is his second year for driving for Honda. It's his 3rd year driving for essentially that team, the Honda factory team. This is the brand new sponsor. The Honda factory team did see a big refresh in sponsorship between this season and last season. Napa Auto Parts will be on this car for a majority of the season. And Ryan Griffin trying to give them a good shot at the Daytona 500. But coming around, Luke Martin brings us to lap number 20. We're a third of the way through the Daytona 500. Martin has led the most laps. It's him, RJ Bishop, Griffin, Reed, and Breeding are your top 5. This has been the Right Lane Cup Series Season 3 Daytona 500. Luke Martin leads over Ryan Griffin. We'll be right back right after this.
Yeah, it's great being driver of the wacky racer, but it has its downside. How about this free ride day? Are you ready?
I guess so.
Hey, man, what are you anyway? Hey, Greg, that dog's got some weird fluid leak.
Hey, look at me, mamacitas. Are you sure this is safe? Is this speed legal? Let me out of this thing. Whoa! Oh, mama.
I would have definitely put in more solid fuel rocket propulsion with nuclear transmitters and electron-induced injection systems. What you have here is so... Look at all the pretty bugs. You even need a...
Yeah, I guess they are kind of pretty, especially this one.
Correct.
Felicitations, malefactors! I am endeavoring to misappropriate the formulary for the preparation of affordable comestibles! Who will join me? I don't get it.
Use the Force, Luke. Let go, Luke.
Get that camera out of my face!
Where'd you go? I just did a bump and run and took the lead.
I ran out of dip.
Dip? I'm racing neck and neck, and that's all you can think about is dip? You need to get your priorities straight.
Look at the bumper given to the 75. Caesar to the inside. He's going to take second spot. We've had a new cast of characters up front here at Daytona. Welcome back to the Season 3 Daytona 500. Angel Gutierrez is currently the leader, and at number 52, Kodak Chevrolet. Nick Breeding is in second. Breeding's going to pull to the inside there. Several new faces at the front. That includes Peter Onjack in the 5. Ben McDonald in the 16 has pulled up front. Cody Lamas, the pole sitter, is finally back up here. Jesse Turner, Samuel England, a lot of new faces up front here at Daytona. We start to see a little bit of spreading out as tires begin to wear and the drivers begin to move forward. The best handling cars seem to be moving forward. We've noticed that. Ben McDonald has been making very good progress in the last 5 or so laps to get up here. Same for Peter Onjak. They spent much of the first quarter of this race riding in the back, testing out the waters, and now they both moved forward. Gutierrez got stuck on the outside line and got back to the inside and has moved that 52 up to the front, but Julio Cesar has got help from a fellow Dodge. Peter Onjak has moved forward. Samuel England is up here in the Exalta Chevrolet for Spa. And then we have some more familiar faces that have been up front. Ryan Griffin, his teammate Luke Evans, RJ Bishop we've seen. But you've noticed a driver who has led the most laps was leading when we went to break, has slipped back a little bit. Luke Martin in the 6 is back here, riding it out in the back of this lead pack with Cody Lamas, his teammate, the 48. That's because the crew came over the radio and told Luke Martin, hey, we need you to drop back a little bit, ride in the pack. Why did they tell him to do that? Because they need him to save fuel. They're hoping to make only one pit stop today. The pit window should be somewhere between 32 and 35 laps. With all the tire wear and the slower speeds, they believe they can get a one-stop race. Considering how in the last couple of seasons we've had 2 stoppers for this 500. This is becoming an incredibly impressive race. And that kind of shows the age that this Daytona 500 track is putting on. Of course, that can be a good thing and that can be a bad thing. What I'm sure is a good thing, especially for Toyota, is RJ Bishop is now going to lead his first laps of the season. He's going to put that Chevrolet, that Kroger Chevrolet up front, a very patriotic view. Brought Luke Evans up here, and we might give a spotlight to Luke Evans. Luke Evans has been in the 43 car for Lake Effect Autosport for the last 2 seasons. Last season, it was especially downhill for that team. Was barely in the top 35 in owners' points, and Lake Effect and Evans agreed to part ways. Evans put himself on the free agent market. Derek Hamill and the Honda factory team picked him up. Little Debbie's, who sponsored Derek Hamill last season, moved to that 99 car, are now proud spokespersons for Luke Evans. And likewise, Evans spoke very highly of his sponsor. This seems to be a great combination for them. And Evans came in to this race, and he was actually an underdog favorite for this. And he's doing incredibly well. He's been from the back to the front several times, and he's doing very well. Somebody else that's done very well is Ben McDonald. Ben McDonald, in the Right Lane Cup Series, his career has been very well known. He almost won. He, by all accounts, should be a winner in the Right Lane Cup Series, but a mistake late in a race at Iowa in Season 1 from Jeffrey Finguy, that man right there. They collided, going into 3 and 4 on the last lap, and gave that win away. Ben McDonald has been winless ever since, but he has come in with a new energy this season. Breeding Enterprise as a whole has come in with a brand new energy. And now you can see Ben McDonald leading the Daytona 500. What a story that would be if that 16 car could win. He could win his first ever race, and it would be this race, one would argue the most prestigious of them all. A couple new cast members showing up front. We talked about Jeffrey Finguy earlier. He is now back up front. That is actually the same car that from Daytona and Talladega last season. That seems to be a running pattern. A lot of drivers and a lot of teams bringing their old super speedway cars up front back to these races. We saw a few of them run them in the Clash, a few of them in the 500. Man, that would have been a finish if that was the end of it. Lamas leading his first laps of the day. Cody Lamas, the rookie. That is Lamas. We could talk about him. Cody Lamas spent most of last season working on the number 6 team of Luke Martin. He was a crew member of Luke Martin's team. The Tampa, Florida native has grown up watching races here at Daytona. Very good late model driver. Was discovered by Vince Freeze and Zachary Fitzwater, who were paying a trip to Five Flag Speedway. Was told about Lamas. They gave Lamas a test in a car as they were looking to expand to 4 cars. initially last season they had to drop it because of a sponsorship obligation, for what I understand. And now Cody Lamas is in this car, isn't a rookie, and he started the season off in the best way possible, winning his duel and winning the outside pole for the 500. Up on the inside line, though, it's Dodge. 1, 2, 3. Caesar and Ryan Reed have moved forward. Reed with a forgettable last season. Unlike his teammate, they've pushed Peter Onjak. Onjak has led his first lap since Talladega last season. Peter Onjak was very worried. If you spoke to Onjak in the garage all this week, they were very worried about their race pace. They believed that they just didn't have it. That they were good in the draft, but they just couldn't really get forward. They made some adjustments on the 5 car during happy hour, and now that 5 car is up front challenging. See what I did there? Challenging for the lead in the Daytona 500, but not for long. Here's Julio Caesar back on the inside with Luke Evans. That little Debbie's Honda is just not going away, I've noticed. He might have the best car in the field. The top 3, though, have separated themselves from the field. We've seen that briefly. We've seen 2 or 3 cars break away from the field, and then something like that happens where somebody pulls to the inside, tries to make a move, and it brings the rest of the field back up. But we're past halfway in the Daytona 500. And here's an interesting stat. The driver who has led halfway in the Daytona 500 the last 2 seasons has not finished in the top 10, which is very interesting because Caesar led the halfway part of the Daytona 500. We'll see if that plays into a factor later. He's got R.J. Bishop behind him. And another Honda, that is Stephen Colon in the Aaron's Dream Machine. Colon is another driver who's had an interesting career in the Right Lane Cup Series. Colon has been with backmarker teams, or field fillers as they've been called, for his entire career. He started driving for Evan Marisi Motorsports in Season 1, drove the 19 Culver's Chevrolet, and then Evan Marisi backed out of the sport. Colon really didn't have a ride. American Racing Equipment's number 50 team picked him up last season. And he DNQ'd many of the races, especially as bigger teams began expanding middle of the season. It hurt the backmarker teams like American Racing Equipment. Colon has been able to bounce back, however. They told him in the offseason that they weren't going to be attempting Cup this season. The 96 team, meanwhile, for the Honda factory team, were looking for a driver. They renumbered to 66 at the request of their sponsor, Aaron's. And now, Stephen Colon has moved over there to drive that 66 car. This is probably the best shot we have at seeing Stephen Colon's. You know, they call him Cookie in the garage. I think he got in the wrong car if that was the case, considering his teammate. But Stephen Colon is doing very well for himself. He's moved up into the top 5. And I'm seeing some hands maybe out the windows of some of these cars. Maybe we might see some pit stops. Because now it's lap 35. We're within the window. And I would be very interested to see if anybody's going to try to make a pit stop. The drivers are very spread out thus far throughout the top. Pretty much the entire field. They're pretty spread out. And perhaps that would make it a whole lot safer. That is something that was noted by a lot of drivers. A few drivers, I remember Finn Guy told me this, Lane Sanders told me this, said that because they feel like it's going to be spaced out later on in the run, if we get green flag pit stops, they might be a little safer because of how, especially on entry. Remember last year at Talladega, we had an accident because Henry Thomas apparently didn't give any signs that he was going to pit, collided with Joseph Strigley, caused a big, massive accident. So we'll see here. It's lap 36 if anybody's going to pit. Caesar has moved up like Lamas waved out of the window. We'll see. No, it was just trying to, a genuine move. There is a car that has lost the draft back there. I believe it's the second Anjado car. My goodness, did you see that move that Peter Onjak tried to make? He tried to clear himself on the 4 of R.J. Bishop. They made contact, I believe, and that checked them both up. Here comes Cody Lamas back to the inside line. Luke Evans now is your race leader. I cannot believe that was not an accident. Moving down to the inside now is Ryan Griffin. He's back up here. Lamas, the rookie, he said he was looking for teammates throughout this race. He hasn't found them. If he has, he's lost them because he lost. There we go. Luke Martin, Charles Sanford. Those are the first two cars to pit. Martin coming down pit lane. Charles Sanford coming down pit lane. There's the 5 of Taylor Frey. The rest of the field is going to continue on. There's 2 Dodges there. They've gotten together. Ryan Reed and Julio Caesar. Oh no, there's smoke! There's smoke out of Julio Caesar's car! Caesar got hit! Oh, trouble! Bishop and Caesar get together! Ryan Reed's in the grass! Caesar's around! Those cars bailing back onto the racetrack! The caution flag is out! Caesar's beached in the turn 3! That is exactly what Luke Martin wanted, exactly what Charles Sanford needed. They will cycle out to the lead. The Hondas are going to lead us back to the start-finish line. Ryan Griffin looks like he beat his teammate back to the start-finish line. That is unbelievable. I cannot believe that happened. RJ Bishop with damage. Ryan Reed with the nose on that Dodge Challenger is scrunched up. Julio Caesar has gotten it back to the pit lane. You see it there, damage to the rear, damage to the side of that car, but that car is going to be done, I believe. We saw smoke rolling out of it. My goodness, let's see if we get a replay and catch what happened. So we were watching Caesar. We were watching Julio Caesar. We had the camera on him and Ryan Reed. His teammates had gotten together. We were hearing reports that they were getting ready to pit. Coming down the back straightaway, coming off of turn number 2. This would be a good angle of it. You see it there. The engine grenaded. And then he just could not get off the track. I don't know if he made contact with his teammate. And you see it there. He and Reed slid through the grass. Bishop slid. And Caesar spun it. Big damage on the side of that car. I believe that would be the only car that spun. I believe Reed and Bishop made it out okay. This is the helicopter view, and you see it there. This will be the biggest tell if they made contact. Oh, that was close. I don't know if they made contact, but we know Caesar hit Bishop. Bishop slid through the grass, and you see Bishop there sliding through. He's able to woe it. He was able to woe it down. He got lucky. He barely got back on the racetrack. He and Reed, I don't think either of them turned right back into the field, and that is a miracle. That would have been a massive accident if that had happened. Riding on board the Pennzoil Cam, this is Nick Breeding's view. He saw everything. I don't think he barely lifted. This is looking out the front of RJ Bishop's car. This might be the best angle that we have of this wreck. And you see there, you saw the aftermath there. We've seen pit stops happening now. Stephen Cologne's down. Ben McDonald, Nick Breeding. There's DJ Curtis pulling off. Most of the field came down pit road, but these guys, about half the field, are going to wait and top off next time by. Ryan Griffin is currently your race leader with the number 99, his teammate Luke Evans. Then it's Cody Lamas, Peter Onjak, and Lane Sanders. That is your top 5. This has been the Season 3 Daytona 500. Ryan Griffin is your race leader. We will be right back right after these short messages.
For every turn, a twist. For every start, an untimely finish. For every win, someone who loses it. For every number, a nation. For every celebration, a brawl. For every split second, years of work. For every heaven, a hell. For every good old boy, a good old girl. For every curse, a prayer. For every ounce of order, a jug of chaos. For every twist, there's a turn.
Okay, now, what do you do next?
Floor it?
Yes. No! No! Don't floor it!
Floor it?
No! No, no, don't floor it!
Okay, floor it!
From the entire Channel 4 News team, I'm Veronica Corningstone.
And I'm Ron Burgundy.
Subscribe to Right Lane Cup.
Welcome back to Daytona International Speedway, the Season 3 Daytona 500. I am Shane Landers. Thank you all for tuning in again. We are currently under caution with about 16 laps to go. We've had to extend the caution due to some issues. The field workers have had to lay a bunch of Speedy Dry down because Caesar was leaking fluid all the way back to pit lane. We are currently under caution from a 3-car accident that has claimed only one car thus far. Julio Caesar, there he is. He is currently out of the race with an engine issue. That number 75, they confirmed to me that Caesar's engine just blew up. There was no overheating issues. And Caesar is now out of the race. Collected his teammate Ryan Reed and RJ Bishop in the number 4. Both those cars are able to continue. And we're going to be coming back around. We'll be taking the 1 to go next time by. Stephen Colon, in his new ride, the number 66, is your race leader in the Daytona 500. DJ Curtis in the number 2. Miller Lite Pontiac is in second spot. Nick Breeding is in third in the Pennzoil Menards Toyota. And a surprise, Jasper Racing Dodge in the top 5. It's Carson Green. They took right sides only on that stop. Then it's Derek Campbell, the pole sitter, in 5th with Luke Martin, Griffin Lapel McDermott, and Charles Sandfer. Those Martin and Sandfer pitted right before the caution came out, and I believe they both gained spots. Sandfer especially gained spots. Then it's Stanley Andrews and Season 1 champion Vince Freeze rounding out your top 10. So we'll be restarting. I believe we'll restart with 14 laps to go. A couple of the drivers stayed out, and they topped off on gas to make sure they could make it to the end of the race. We see them, Lane Sanders, Aiden Smith. Sanders stayed out. They took advantage of that. They stayed out and gained a lap lead for Sanders. I believe Aiden Smith stayed out. Vargas, that's 3 of the Spa cars back here. I believe everybody up to Luke Evans in the 99. No, Taylor Frey in the 15. The 27th on back, excluding the number 75, who's out of the race, stayed out a lap or 2 or 3 even in one case to try and get bonus point. Maybe try to get a bonus point, play a little chicken, but to most importantly, make sure that they had enough fuel to make it to the end of the race. So this is a big opportunity because between the top 5, there's 2 wins. DJ Curtis has won a race. He won a Nashville race. Nick Breeding has won at Bristol. And the rest of the top 5 have never won. 2 of them running for probably one of the best teams on the grid, the Honda Factory team, Stephen Colon, Derek Hamill. Derek Hamill lit up the charts late last season. Top 5s left and right, but he just couldn't close the deal. I think of races like Homestead. I think of races like Rockingham especially, where Hamill was so close that he could not get it done. We'll see how this will shape out. And how about this for Carson Green? That team started mid last season after the shutdown of Westfalls Motorsports. Was able to get Jasper's Engines and Transmissions as a sponsor, who are also doing engines for Jasper Racing themselves. Carson Green, that 67 team, were able to make the Daytona 500 with points, and we'll see how they'll be able to do, but it's going to be a tall order, being the only Dodge in the top 10. The pace car pulls down the pit lane. That's going to be Stephen Colon, DJ Curtis, Nick Breeding. They're going to bring us back to the green flag. It's back out, and we're back under racing. 14 laps to go in the Great American Race. Breeding messed with Curtis. He pulled outside. Now he pulls inside. Stephen Colon races them back into turn 1. Hamill gets jumped by Luke Martin. Carson Green's going to put Curtis 3 wide. Curtis has no momentum at all. Martin 3 wide to the inside line, trying to get back up to the front. Arguably the best Ford of the day. He's got help from somebody who he was seeing at the start of the race. That's Griffin Lapel McDermott, the Season 2 champion. They're going to be tandem drafting into turn number 3. Breeding's going to try to take the lead. Carson Green making some moves. Going to put that Jasper Racing Dodge in the second. What a story that would be. He goes to the inside. He's going to try to take the lead from Nick Breeding. Back to the line. Breeding led that time. Here comes Carson Green. What a story it would be if Carson Green could win this race. Luke Martin, though, is here. 13 to go. Martin, I believe he thinks the time is now. There's no fuel saving now. He's up front. He's going to move Carson Green to the outside line. Griffin Lapel McDermott moves to the inside. He's got Andrew Gutierrez in the middle. Look at Gutierrez go. Is this the spot you want to be in? Ben McDonald, where did B come from? He's got help from a rookie. That's Andrew Thomas. We spoke about him in the duels. That brand new organization. That number 2019, that Tubi, that spooky Tubi car. They could absolutely, this is their first race ever. They could make a big splash. Imagine winning the 500 in your first start. Somebody who can imagine is Vince Freeze. He won the Season 1 race. Someone else who can imagine, funny enough, Alexander Rowe. He won last year's 500 as a rookie. But up front, Ben McDonald blocking left and right. He's going to move it back to turn 3. Ben McDonald takes the lead. Griffin Lapel McDermott pulls to the outside line. He's got Andrew Thomas. Thomas, a West Virginia native. His cousin Henry Thomas, a winner in the Right Lane Cup Series. This Maple Leaf Motorsports team, we talked about them in the duels and in the clash. An offshoot of the Honda factory team. They are trying to win the Daytona 500 now, and they're going to lead. Ben McDonald moved to the outside, the block to 22. Now the 6 is pulled alongside. Cars, man, my goodness, look at Ben McDonald trying to move down. Rowe, Alexander Rowe, we haven't spoke about him all day. He's up here. Logan Cloud, we barely mentioned him at the start of the race. Look at Breeding move from the outside to the inside line. He's got Jesse Turner. Look at Jesse Turner. We haven't spoke about him all day either. With the pit stops and the caution, a whole new breed of characters have come up here. 3 wide at the stripe. 10 laps to go in the 500. Ben McDonald has cleared. He's going to make a move on Carson on the number 29. That's Andrew Thomas. He's looking for teammates. His teammate, Nick Breeding, his boss, Nick Breeding, is right back here. Trying to move forward. Martin gets shoved out. What a mess coming into the third turn. Rowe moves 3 wide with Breeding. Breeding doesn't go with him. He's going to push Martin. Thomas trying to block. He washed up out of the corner. He's going to block the 22 and the 9. Henry Thomas is up here. Look at this jostle of cars coming back into the tri-oval. 9 to go. If ever there was, man, my goodness. Ben McDonald blocking like a madman coming through the tri-oval. He tried to block the 10. He couldn't block him. He blocked the 29, and he almost caused a big wreck doing that. Alexander Rowe, how about this? The Valvoline Pontiac is up front. He's got the champion pushing him. He lost Rookie of the Year. That man, Alexander Rowe, lost Rookie of the Year by 1 single point. 1 point he lost the Rookie of the Year battle by. Can he go back-to-back in the 500? It would be the first time in Right Lane Cup Series history that the driver has gone back-to-back in a single race from one year to another. He's going to lead this lap, get the bonus point, but here comes Ben McDonald. Is he going to try to get back up here? Will Rowe block like he was blocked earlier? Man, Ben McDonald's help evaporated. Thomas pulled to the middle line to try to get around his cousin. Imagine, I'm sure there's no family love lost there. Carson Green gets kicked to the bottom. He lost all his momentum. Man, that was close. He had to block Luke Evans there. Evans cut him some slack. This late in the race, I'm shocked that we're getting any slack cut here. The two Thomas cousins are together now. Ben McDonald and Rowe drop back. Griffin Lapel McDermott drops forward. He's to the lead with 8 to go. We're coming to 7 laps to go with a 500. Nick Breeding, where did he come from? He's got the Thomas cousins and Vince Freeze in his mirror. Can Nick Breeding win the 500? He's had a strong Toyota. He moves to the inside of the 22, who all he's had is Luke Martin. Those two have worked very well. Henry Thomas jumps Nick Breeding. He's going to the outside line. He's going to help the 22. Breeding side drafting for all he can. Thomas to the inside line. Vince Freeze in the top 5. First time we've seen him all day long in this lead pack. Rowe and Green are behind him. Ben McDonald trying to regroup. Coming back around. 6 laps to go in the 500. It's Ben McDonald trying to get back up here, but it's Nick Breeding, his boss, and Griffin Lapel McDermott, the champion. Andrew Thomas, I don't know what happened to Thomas. He had to let out of the gas, and that ruined Griffin Lapel McDermott. He's got no help. Breeding blocked him. I think that was a mistake. Thomas to the inside with Freeze. Trying everything he can do. Henry Thomas lost the championship from his inconsistency. What a story that would be for Henry Thomas if he could win this race. He, by all accounts, should have been the champion. But, like we said, lack of consistency, issues, wrecks, engine problems cost him that championship. He was very dejected by that, and he's now in a shot for the Great American Race. But look at this mess coming into turn 1 and 2 behind him. 3 wide, 4 wide at one point. Everybody trying to get as much real estate as they can. A lot of people trying to make as much room as they can. Rowe blocking the 48 and the 6. Here comes Ben McDonald to the inside. That is for the 8th spot. Thomas trying to fight Breeding with Freeze. Coming back around, it's going to be 4 laps to go. Any caution now, the race would be complete. It's a dead heat at the line, but Breeding will get it. 4 laps to go. That outside line seems to have the better numbers, but the inside line seems to be better in the corners. Thomas again backing up. I think that car is starting to handle horribly coming up through there. And you see he has to lift in the corners because that's the only way he'll get it to turn, and it is stacking him up. Look at this, 3 wide. Breeding can't figure out which lane to block. Freeze to the inside, 3 wide for 2nd spot. I think the field is in trouble. These 3, I believe, are in trouble. That's 3 Fitzwater Australia cars. Moving forward, Freeze, Lamas, and Martin. If Fitzwater Australia Racing, if Zachary Fitzwater ever thought he had a shot at the 500 as an owner, this is it. Freeze trying to help his teammates. Martin 3 wide. That's going to help Henry Thomas. That's going to get him cleared with 3 to go. Anything can happen. Breeding is trying to fight back on the outside line, but Thomas fighting back on the inside line. Thomas is going to clear into turn 3. Henry Thomas up at the front at Daytona. Look at Ryan Reed. Ryan Reed was in that wreck not too long ago. He's back up here. 2 laps to go in the Daytona 500. Man, Henry Thomas has got to be terrified looking out of his mirror right now. 2 Fitzwater cars in his mirror. 2 of them on the inside line. What can he do? Can he block Freeze? No, he can't. Freeze to the inside line. Lamas goes to the outside line, though. Cody Lamas. Can the rookie win the 500? Can a rookie win the 500 2 years in a row? Ben McDonald's back up front. Here he comes in the 16 3M Toyota. He was outside the top 10. He was just inside the top 10. Can he make a charge? Coming around, we're going to take the white flag. Henry Thomas leads them back to the white. One lap to go in the Daytona 500. Ben McDonald back up front. He's going to lose draft, but Henry Thomas leads them back into turn number 1. Thomas, Lamas, Freeze, Martin, and Ben McDonald. I believe those are the cars that are going to settle it. Coming back around side by side for the lead on the back straightaway. The final time at Talladega. Thomas got away from Freeze. He doesn't need him to get to his quarter panel. Thomas is going to clear. He's blocking for all he can. Here comes Vince Freeze back on the inside. Freeze has one last chance, one last shot at him. Coming through 3 and 4 for the final time. I don't think he's going to have the run. Henry Thomas. His season last year ended in dejection. His season this year starts in jubilation. Henry Thomas is the season 3 Daytona 500 champion. How about that? My goodness, what a race. Cody Lamas, the rookie's in second. Vince Freeze, the 500 champ of season 1, in third. Luke Martin will finish fourth. And Ben McDonald will round out your top 5. His late race charge comes up just short. But for Henry Thomas, that team, we talked about them throughout this race, how much they had to do, all the pain they had to go through trying to get that car in championship contending shape. This year they started off in the best way possible. Congratulations to Henry Thomas, M&M's, MB2 Motorsports, and Pontiac on that amazing win. Nail-biting all the way to the end. Thank you all so much for watching this amazing race. This is the 3rd Daytona 500. Has to be probably the best one yet. Thank you all so much for watching this amazing race. We'll get you your finishing results here in a second. And congratulations again to Henry Thomas and that whole crew on their great win here in the Great American Race.